Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again in this live section. Thank you for being with me. So guys, let us be actually looking into what we have for today. Please, if you know you're doing something, please just leave everything you're doing and listen to what I'm about to tell you guys now. So guys, since 1999 in this so-called Fourth republic, no politician dead or alive has ever dared to challenge the North the way Mazi Nnamdi Kalu has. Not Tinubu, not Atiku, not even what Obasanjo. Today, I'm going to show you what Tinubu cannot say, what he dares not do, but what Mazi Nnamdi Kalu has done openly since time what immemorial. If you truly want to understand the fear, the threat, and the power the North wields over Nigeria, stay with me to the end. Now, let's break this thing down. Why Nnamdi Kalu is actually different? Let's highlight that only Mazi Nnamdi Kalu has openly what challenged this what northern what dominance. Now let's construct him with Tinubu. Tinubu knows this truth. He was even whispered restructuring before, but does he have the courage to implement it? Does he have the backbone to confront the North? Shows that Kanu calls for restructuring predates his Biafra words agitation. Now, this constitutional tribe, let's lay out how the 1999 constitution was drafted by northern military elites without what public referendum. Now, explain why Kanu calls it undemocratic words and pro-North. Now, let's tie it to Tinubu's current silence and what political words survival. Now, before I continue, if you believe freedom can be delayed but never denied, please type free Mazi Nnamdi Kalu in the comment section. Now, let's go on to what we have. In 2021, Mazi Nnamdi Kalu said something that shook the political foundation of Nigeria. He described Nigeria's what political system as nothing more than a north-south divide. He exposed how the North has turned politics into what a regional weapon, creating northern dominated parties to control national elections while sidelining what the South interest. Now, let's link this to the statement. It says the North remembers, the North does not forget. This to show how it's not just rhetorical, but what a deliberate power structure. Now let's ask ourselves, can Tinubu say this? Can Atiku even say? None of them can because they are products that very northern dominated system. These people cannot own up, and challenge the northerners. Atiku, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they cannot they cannot just stand up like at this and will defend or even attack the northerners. No, they are always afraid because of they feel that the North has what veto power, and if they try to attack them, they may decide that they're not going to vote for them come 2027 election. Now, in Kanu's 2021 revolution as a warning, in 2021, Kanu did not just describe the system as North versus South. He warned that unless this structure is dismantled, Nigeria will remain in permanent imbalance. He argued that the South would always play second fiddle because the political framework itself was designed to favor the North. The northern political machinery. Kanu exposed that northern dominance isn't just about politics, it's about what institution. From INEC appointments to security chiefs and key ministries, the North ensures leverage over every election cycle. This is why national elections are often decided before votes are even cast. Why Southerners stay silent? Southern politicians know the truth, but fear losing power or being cut off from the system resource. The silence protects their political careers but sells out their region. Kanu broke that silence and paid the price with detention. Now, connection to food and economic blackmail. The northerners threat isn't only political, it is economic. Kanu highlighted how food blockades and cattle routes are used as bargaining chips to keep the South dependent. When he linked this to the northern political machine, it exposed a system of total control. Now, let's take a look at the historical pattern. Since 1960, every time a Southern leader tries to shift power balance, there's a northern pushback. Kanu connected this pattern to the 1999 dominance. Why this scared the cabals? You guys know who I'm always calling the cabals. The cabals are always the Funanis, the Fulanis, the Igbos, the Yoruba, they are the people I'm always calling the cabals. So why does this scare the cabals? Kanu wasn't just talking about Biafra, he was exposing the and middle belt against the North was stronghold. Now, many people have been asking, why is it that people like Atiku and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they don't used to be able to come out and attack the North, because of they feel that the North are always they did not have veto power and they are gaining a lot from the northern side. Now, Kanu versus political bargains. Kanu revealed that southern politicians often have to kneel to northern power brokers before any election. He exposed how ministerial positions, presidential tickets, and even state level appointments are negotiated in northern backrooms before the public ever votes. Now, the northern voting bloc in 2021, he explained that the North real weapon isn't just number but coordinated voting patterns. Southern regions are divided by ethnic and party lines, while the North votes almost as one, giving them the leverage to swing presidential election. Now, Kanu's call for regional autonomy, he not only criticized, he proposed a solution, a return to a regional government where each zone controls its resource and governance. This terrified the North because it could break their centralized power structure built since 1979 and reinforced in 1999. Now, the rule of the 1999 constitution, he tied everything back to the imposed constitution, saying it was deliberately written to entrench northern influence without a referendum or a restructuring. The South would always remain politically handicapped. Now, the economic control, Kanu warned that the North dominance goes beyond politics. It extends to controlling oil, revenue allocation, security budget, and trade routes. This economic chokehold ensures certain regions are too dependent to resist. Now, exposing Southern complicity, he accused the Southern leaders of selling out their people for personal gain by showing how they accept crumbs in exchange for silence. He shifted the blame from only the North to the entire political class. Now, let's take a look at the global angle. Kanu's 2021 statement wasn't just for Nigerians. He used it to appeal to the international community, saying Nigeria's democracy is a facade controlled by a regional elite. That international exposure made the cabal even more desperate to silence him. No wonder I keep asking myself this question. Why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu always afraid? In fact, from the look of things, people have started accusing him of collecting, power, collecting ideas from the North. Because tell me why the Northerners are saying that before Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released, he should sign a particular deal. And people are asking, why is it that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku cannot actually come out, and attack the North? They are always afraid of the Northerners. What is the problem? Now, it has been revealed to us. The Northern control of security forces. Kanu explained that the real reason the North maintains dominance is because they control the armed forces, police hierarchy, and intelligence agencies. Any attempt to shift power is met with intimidation or direct suppression using state security. Now, the census and population game. He exposed how population figures are inflated in the North to keep more federal allocations and more legislative seats. This guarantees Northerners advantage in the National Assembly, making constitutional change almost impossible without their approval. Now, Southern fair versus Northern unity. Kanu highlighted that the South's biggest weakness is division. Igbo, Yoruba, Niger Delta leaders rarely unite. The North leveraged this disunity to maintain power while the South fights itself over crumbles. Now, media manipulation. He accused the Northern elites of controlling major narratives in the national media. Stories that expose Northern dominance are killed quickly, while agitation from the South is painted as threats to national unity. Now, this was Kanu's message to the youth. He told Nigerian youth that the North-South divide is not accidental. It is designed to keep them fighting among themselves. His message pushed for a generational revolt against the old order, not just a regional agitation. Now, let's take a look at the international conspiracy. Kanu warned that some international interests support northern dominance because it ensures easier access to Nigerians' resource through one centralized power was hub. This made his calls for regional autonomy a direct threat to both local and foreign world allies. Now, Tinubu's dilemma. He predicted that any southern president, including Tinubu, would either bow to the northern cabal or be removed. This point is playing out now as people question if Tinubu truly controls the government or is just managing the same what northern dominated structure. That is what people are asking. So people are asking this question: who is actually ruling Nigeria? Is it the northerners or what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Because it's not confusing to all of us. So guys, please don't forget to type in the comment section because this is a ritual that we're always doing here, so that the federal government will be aware that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an innocent man, and also that Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to release this man at all costs. Please type in the comment section, free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and also justice delayed is not justice denied, because this man has been in constitutional detention since 2021 till date. Now, northern ownership of power. I'm telling you guys what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said about the northern ownership of power. So guys, listen carefully. He said Kanu argued that the North sees political power as its birthright, not something to be shared. You know, the North now, they are not seeing it as a birthright, that they are the ones that now have the power. You see a northern man who come and beat his chest and tell you that an Igbo man cannot be the president of Nigeria just because they feel that they feel that they not are seeing political power as their birthright, that they are the ones that have what political power in this country. And that's many people have been asking, who is ruling Nigeria? Is it the Northerners or is it what Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Now, Kanu argued that the North sees political power as its birthright, not something to be shared. He said this mindset explains why they openly say power must remain in the North without shame or what apology. Now, he exposed the quota system trap. He exposed how the quota system and federal character policy were designed to favor the North in civil service, military recruitment, and what education. This ensures northern dominance in critical decision-making organs of the state. Now, let's link this to resource control. Cannot tie the struggle to Nigerians oil wells, showing how the North benefits from southern resources without contributing little to the federal workforce. His demand for resource control threatened the entire federal revenue system that sustains the North. Using religion as a weapon, he said the Northern weaponizes religion to mobilize votes and was suppress what dissent by painting Southern agitation as anti-Islam or anti-North. They create fear among their population to maintain what unity against any change. Now, the silent middle belt. Kanu pointed out that the middle belt suffers under the same Northern dominance, but is often silenced or absorbed into political interest. He called for the middle belt rate and control what the revenue. This makes the South financially weak to challenge the central power. Why they fear Biafra? This is the reason why they fear Biafra. He said the northern elites fear Biafra not just because of secession, but because it would break their control over Nigeria's economy and political system permanently. Now, Southern compromise culture. He described how Southern leaders often trade long-term freedom for short-term personal gains like contracts, appointments, or immunity deals. This betrayal maintains the North's grip. Kanu, as a historical disruptor, Kanu positioned himself not as a politician, but as a disruptor of a rich historical system. He said his fight was beyond one man. It was about dismantling a colonial and post-colonial structure of oppression. Now, I kept asking myself, why are the Northerners always feeling that political power is their birthright? That's why you see any small thing, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu is always afraid to question them, always afraid to attack them. A northern man will do something in Nigeria, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not even Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not say, oh, what these people did is not good. Let us put them behind bars. Just like for instance, there was this case that happened between a man named Jackson and a Fulani man. Now, this Fulani man tried to overpower Jackson. But Jackson was not the one that was not able to overpower him. That in along the process, Jackson was not the one that killed the Fulani man. Now, instead of the Nigerian government to say, "Oh, this man named Jackson has really tried by trying to what overpower his enemy," instead, you know what happened? They locked this man up. They locked Jackson up and gave him what a death penalty. Imagine, just because he was able to overpower what someone who tried to kill him. And the Nigerian government, they supported the Fulani man. This to tell you that the Northerners are always feeling that political power belongs to them. And that's why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been bent down to say that 1999 constitution has been what? That 1999 constitution has been written to favor the Northerners. Now, the Northern political calculation, Kanu said the North plans 20 to 30 years ahead politically, while the South reacts election by election. This long-term planning keeps the South perpetual behind and divided. Now, the one Nigeria illusion, he argued that one Nigeria is a slogan used by the North only when it benefits them. When it threatens their power, they revert to national unity first before what national interest. Now, exploiting Southern disunity, Kanu highlighted how the North uses Igbo-Yoruba rivalry to keep the South weak. Every time there's a chance for a united Southern front, the North throws in political deals to split them. Controlling electoral bodies, he pointed out that key electoral appointments are always made to favor the North. Even when Southerners are appointed, they are often loyal to the North cabal that selected them. Fear of true democracy. Kanu said the cabal fears true democracy because a free and fair election without manipulation would expose their monetary control over the majority of what Nigerians' wealth and what resources. Now, weaponizing poverty, he argued that the North deliberately keeps its population poor to make them dependent on politicians and easier to mobilize as a voting bloc. The silencing mechanism. Every Southern leader who tries to reform the system faces blackmail, impeachment threats, or sudden corruption probes. Kanu said this is why no Southern president has ever become able to change the structure. International silence. How he revealed that Western powers prefer dealing with a predictable Northern allies because they offer stability for oil deals. This external support embodies the cabal to maintain control at all costs. Now, cultural blackmail. Kanu noted how the North paints any Southerner agitation as tribalism, while their own regional dominance is portrayed as national interest. Now, the October judgment warning. He warned that if Nigeria ignores the call for restructuring and continues detaining voices like his, the country risks a total collapse. He said that the October judgment will be a test of whether Nigeria chooses dialogue or deeper division. So he's saying that on October 10th, we're going to know if Nigeria actually chooses dialogue or do they want a deeper division. Now, Northern grip on revenue allocation. Kanu exposed how the revenue allocation formula was skewed to favor Northern states with low economic output. He said this policy was designed to make oil-rich Southern states dependent and political weak, manipulating national identity. He argued that the North uses national unity as a shield to keep power centralized while suppressing the cultural and political identities of other regions. Now, fear of Southern economic power. Kanu revealed that the North's biggest fear is the South gaining control over its own economy. He said true resource control would end the North's leverage overnight. Now, the judiciary as a tool. He accused the cabal of capturing the judiciary to maintain the status quo. According to him, landmark cases on restructuring or constitutional review never succeed because the courts are under political influence. Now, Northern political training. He highlighted how Northern politicians are grouped from youth through madras, local councils, and emirate systems to see leadership as duty to the North first. He contrasted this with the South lack of political succession planning. Now, deliberate underdevelopment. Kanu said some parts of the North are deliberately kept underdeveloped so they can be used as poverty zones to justify federal allocations and control. Military continuity. He claimed the military handover in 1999 wasn't through democracy but a rebranding of Northern military dominance in civilian clothing. Many civilian power brokers were ex-military or backed by them. Northern right to rule mentality. He explained that for decades the North has been taught that leadership is their divine right, while the South is told to be what? Loyal citizens. This psychological condition sustained what? The imbalance. Biafra as a threat to the whole system. Kanu said Biafra isn't just a threat to Nigeria, but to the global political order built on exploiting centralized African states. That's why both local and foreign power resist it. Warning for Tinubu. He predicted that Tinubu, if he doesn't reform the structure, if he doesn't reform the structure, will be used and dumped by the same northern cabals he thinks he controls. He called Tinubu's presidency a southern experiment in what a northern what in a northern what lab. That is what they called Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They said that he's what they said that he called Tinubu's presidency a southern experiment in what in a northern what lab. Now, the northerners' control of federal appointments kind of exposed how top federal positions, defense, oil, finance, and security are strategically allocated to maintain northern influence, regardless of the president's what origin. Using religion to block southern unity, he argued that the North exploits religious differences between Christians and Muslims in the South to prevent a united front against what central power. The power of threat. Kanu said the North doesn't need to always act, just the threat of withdrawal of support or violence is enough to keep Southern leaders obedient. Now, census as a political weapon. He reviewed that population figures are not just inflated for funds, but to guarantee more voting power and legislative seats, locking in northern control for decades. Now, exploiting southern desperation, he explained how the North offers small political deals to desperate southern allies, trading them loyalty for a false sense of what inclusion. Now, Kanu's call for a referendum, he tied all his arguments to the need for a referendum, saying Nigerians must choose between restructuring or breakup instead of living under a false democracy. Northern media control, he argued that national narratives are shaped to make the North look like a stabilizing force while portraying what Southern agitation as chaos. Now, the North memory politics. He linked the phrase the North remembers to a culture of long-term grudges and strategic what retaliation against regions that challenges were there. International oil interests. Kanu revealed that foreign governments and oil companies prefer a northern-dominated Nigeria because centralization makes resources deals easier to control. Southern youth betrayal. He said Southern politicians have failed their youth by protecting a structure that ensures they will remain what second-class citizens politically. Because the way now it's just as if the Southerners had been betrayed, thereby saying that the Southerners are going to remain what second-class citizens for forever. But it's not going to work because Martin Nnamdi is actually what is actually fighting for the southeast. Now, northern use of strategic alliance. Can you explain that the North uses short-term alliances with one southern region against another to maintain what control? Once they achieve their goal, they discard the alliance and return to protecting northern interests first. Now, power rotation math. He said the idea of power rotation is a trick to keep southerners calm. Real power never rotates. The North still controls key levers of government, no matter who is president. Now, control of the military hierarchy. Can you argue that even when a southern president appoints service chiefs, the real power remains with northern officers groomed for decades to maintain what the system? Southern leadership fear. He exposed how many southern leaders are scared of being cut off financially or politically if they challenge the North structure. So they remain what obedient. Northern investment to politics. He revealed that wealthy northern allies spend heavily funding political structures across Nigeria to ensure control of both major parties and opposition keys. Now, Kanu's prediction about 2023. Before his arrest, Kanu predicted that even if a southern candidate wins in 2023, the structure would remain intact unless the constitution is changed. He said Tinubu's presidency would expose whether Nigeria is truly democratic or controlled. Media silence on Kanu's 2021 message. His North-South political system revolution was largely ignored by mainstream media because it threatened the entire establishment. The power of federal character. Kanu argued that the federal character principle is a disguise for keeping northern dominance by guaranteeing their representation in every key institution, regardless of what merit. Fear of regional wealth. He said the North blocks restructuring because they fear losing access to southern oil, ports and economic hubs which sustain what the federation. Kano's call for historical awakening. He urged Nigerians to study history, saying the patterns of northern control have been consistent since 1960, only changing names from military words to civilian words leaders. That is what they are saying here. So guys, please, I want you guys to please type in the comment section free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and also justice delayed is not justice denied, because we're also using this platform to advocate for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and also to tell the federal government that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent and he needs to be released now. So northern grip on education policy. Kanu highlighted how federal education policies are designed to favor northern catchment areas and quotas, producing more northern graduates for federal jobs using fear of disintegration. He said the North uses the threat of Nigeria breaking up to blackmail Southerners into accepting unfair compromises to keep the country together. Kanu on oil revenue sharing. He argued that the current derivation formula is designed to drain the South resources while enriching landlocked northern states that contribute little to national income. Weaponizing national security. He accused the northern allies of creating and controlling crises as banditry, insurgency as bargaining chips to negotiate political wars concessions. The false unity narrative. Kanu said Nigeria's so-called unity is only maintained through force, not genuine consent of the people, making restructuring what inevitable. Southern dependency on federal power. He explained how the North keeps southern states weak by denying them full control of their ports, taxation system, and what mineral resources. The silent coup theory. Kanu warned that Nigerian civilian government is just a continuation of military rule under a democratic war facade controlled by the same northern world network. Why they fear referendum? He argued that a free referendum would expose that most regions want autonomy, which would destroy the central system the North depend on. Northern use of region in foreign policy. He said the North uses its Islamic identity to form alliance with Middle Eastern powers, giving them extra leverage over southern dominated Christian regions. Kanu's warning to southern allies. He told southern leaders that history will judge them if they continue trading their people's freedom for positions and contracts under what a reward system. That was what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told them. So northern domination of key infrastructure. Kanu highlighted how critical national infrastructures like the oil, the pipelines, railway, and refineries are located or rooted in a way that prioritizes what northern security and access. Political blackmail using stability. He explained that the North often wants that removing them from power would destabilize Nigeria, using peace as a weapon to maintain what their grip. The hidden power brokers. Kanu said the real decisions are not made by elected officials, but by a network of what retired generals, emirs, and business moguls in the North who dictate national what policy. Now, Kanu's exposure of pre-independence days, he referenced how colonial agreements gave northern leaders disproportionate power before independence, a structure never dismantled after what 1960. Now, fear of national technology and industry. Kanu warned that if the South develop its industry and technology independently, the North economic relevance would collapse overnight, using corruption to maintain control. He said the cabal internationally uses freedom corruption network to keep southern politicians compromised so they can't speak against the system. Now, the tokenizing strategy. Can you expose how the North occasionally what allows one southern figure to rise, minister, VP, president as a token to maintain the illusion of balance while keeping real power was centralized. Now, the divide and rule electoral map. He explained how the electoral boundaries and state creation process were designed to give the North more representation and voting power in the National Assembly. Now, suppressing southern military strength. Kanu revealed how southern officers are often retired early or sidelined to prevent them from building influence within the armed forces. Psychological war. He said the phrase the North remembers is not just political but was psychological warfare meant to install what fear in Southerners across what generation. So the big question that many people have been asking is that why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu always afraid of the North? Now, Northern monopoly on strategic wars agencies. Kanu highlighted how agencies like NNPC, Customs, Immigration, and CBN are constantly kept under Northern influence to control finance and what resource flow. Kanu on military what impose Kanu on military imposed constitutions. We reminded Nigerians that the 1999 constitution was written under a northern dominated military council without a referendum, cementing their control in law. Exploiting what ethnic was suspicion. He explained how the North fuels Igbo Yoruba mistrust so that the South can never unite to demand restructuring or resource what control. The illusion of democracy. Kanu said Nigerians' elections are only a ritual. The real results are decided by the cabal long before ballots was are cast. Now, Northern Kingmaker strategy. He exposed how the North rarely what produces candidates alone, but positions itself as kingmaker for Southern candidates to ensure what loyalty. Now, suppression of international voices. The Kanu argued that the Southern academics, journalists, and activists who expose the North-South imbalance are either silenced or were discredited quickly. The fear of Southern control of ports. He said if Lagos and Eastern ports operated independently, the North would lose its economic leverage since import routes are their lifeline. Now, using internal crisis to stay in power, Kanu claimed that the cabal allows or creates instability, banditry, terrorism as an excuse to centralize what power and what blocking what restructuring. Now, the international oil lobby. He argued that global oil corporations back the northern ally because centralized control makes crude oil negotiation easier, blocking what through was federalism. Now, Kanu's warning about timeline. He is not what justice denied. And also, I want you guys to actually drop your comment below based on what is going on. Why do you think that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually what fearing the North? Now, let's go on. North ownership of strategic land. Kanu said larger portions of land in southern states are quietly what acquired by northern allies to create future leverage over food supply and settlement what patterns. Now, controlling the national grid, he pointed out how energy distribution is centralized in a way that in a way that prioritizes what the North, making southern industrial growth dependent on what federal approval. Now, using amnesty as a political tool, Kanu argued that federal amnesty programs are designed to pacify restricted regions temporarily while keeping the core power structure was unchanged. Now, Kanu on international silence, he claimed foreign governments ignore Nigeria's imbalance because they benefit from a weak divided federation that is easier to control what economically. Now, weaponizing federal projects, he revealed that major federal projects are cited in the north to sustain their economy, while southern projects are delayed or unfunded. Now, fear of regional militants. Kanu warned that the north block regional policing and state security outfits because it would break their monopoly over armed what enforcement. The hidden oil blocks. He exposed how most lucrative oil blocks are owned by northern elites, despite being in southern what territories, a symbol of what economic capture. Now, using poverty for political loyalty, he said the North deliberately keep masses improvised to make them dependent on politicians and easy to mobilize as a voting what machine. Now, strategic appointment of traditional rulers. Kanu highlighted how the federal government influences the selection of some southern traditional rulers to ensure they align with the central agenda. The coming generational shift. He predicted that the younger generation would eventually reject the northern and southern power dynamic entirely, focusing either restructuring on dissolution of what of the system. So that is what he's saying. So guys, please, like I always tell you guys, please, this is like a normal ritual that we do here. Please type in the comment section free Martin Namdekalo and also say justice delayed, denied is not what justice. So guys, let's move on. Northern manipulation of state creation. Kanu said the North pushed for more states in the region, not for development, but to secure extra senators, rep, and what federal allocations. Now, controlling currency policy, he pointed out that the monetary policies like cash flow and exchange rates are influenced by northern what linked network in CBN to benefit to what to benefit their economic what interest. Now, using census to anchor power, Kanu explained that census manipulation is not just about population, it locks in permanent legislative and electoral what advantage for decades. Now, fear of a southern economic bloc. He warned that if the southeast and south-south and southwest formed a united economic alliance, the federal system as it exists would collapse. Exploiting southern ethnic stereotypes, he said the North uses propaganda to paint Igbos as separatists, Yorubas as opportunists, and Niger Deltas as militants to keep them what divided. Northern domination of the civil service. Kanu revealed that the bureaucracy is the true engine of power, and northern dominance they ensure policy continuity regardless of who is president. Now, resource starvation strategy. He claimed the North withholds federal infrastructure investment in southern zones unless political loyalty is guaranteed. Why they fear data transparency? Can you argue that a transparent national database would expose false population figures and dismantle northern political leverage overnight, using insurgency as leverage? He said northern insecurity is sometimes prolonged deliberately to justify more federal spending and keep the military presence strong in the region. Now, Kanu's warning on silent revolution, he predicted that Nigeria's collapse might not come through war, but through a silent economic and political boycott by frustrated regions refusing to cooperate with the center. That is what Mazin Namdekalo told them. That is what Mazin Namdekalo told them. So guys, let's go on. So, northern grip on oil subsidy politics. Kanu said subsidy regimes were maintained to fuel wealth into northern controlled network while keeping fuel prices politically sensitive to control the masses. Now, using national crisis to reset power. He argued that every major national crisis, civil war, coups, fuel scarcity has been used by the North to reinstigate power into their favor. The fear of independent southern banking. Kanu warned that the North resist any attempt to decentralize banking license because independent southern controlled banks would shift financial power away from Abuja. Now, northern role in delayed infrastructure in the southeast. He said the constant neglect of southeast federal roads and industries is deliberate to keep the region economic disadvantage and political weak. Now, internal international aid politics. Can you expose how northern allies redirected international aid to their region to build political loyalty, leaving the south underfunded despite generating what more revenue? Now, strategic appointment of electoral officials. He reviewed that electoral commissions are filled with people vetted for loyalty to maintain the central system regardless of which party wins. Controlling the national budget. Kanu explained how budget allocations are skewed to prioritize northern projects while starving southern initiative that will create what? Autonomy. Now, the fear of southern ports competing with Lagos. He said the refusal to develop eastern ports is to prevent what? Economic independence for the southeast, forcing reliance on Lagos and Abuja controlling trade. Now, weaponizing national honors, he argued that giving national awards to southern allies is used as a soft control tactic to buy loyalty and silence for dissent. Kanu's warning on historical repeat. He said Nigeria risk repeating 1967 because the same structural imbalance that caused the civil war has never been addressed or repackaged. That is what he said. What caused the civil war has never even been addressed or repackaged. That's what Mazin Namdekalu said. Now, northern domination of agricultural policy. Kanu said federal agricultural subsidies are channeled to northern states, making them the primary beneficiaries while keeping southern food production undeveloped. Weaponizing border control. He highlighted how the North uses Nigeria's porous borders for political and population leverage while tightening security in the South to limit what? Autonomy. Now, fear of regional currency system. Kanu warned that the North opposes any discussion of regional currencies because it will break the financial centralization they depend on. Now, controlling policy promotion. He reviewed how promotions in the police force are used to ensure loyalty to the northern cabal and suppress what reform-minded officers. Kanu on the northern economic work loop. He explained how the North keeps resource collection, policy approval, and revenue redistribution in a closed loop to sustain what? Dominance, regardless of who governs. Now, suppressing indigenous knowledge. He argued that the federal structure sidelines in indigenous economic system in the South to keep Western-style centralized governance that favors the North. Now, using religion to influence foreign policy. Kanu said the North leveraged Islamic solidarity to gain backing from the Middle Eastern nation, countering what southern Christian dominated was diplomacy. Now, fear of a southern technology hub. He warned that if the South controls Nigeria's tech future, like fintech, AI, and digital trade, it will shift power away from the federal center permanently. Now, the role of secret pacts. Kanu claimed that there are unwritten agreements between northern allies and foreign powers to keep Nigeria centralized for resource exploitation. Kanu's message on unity through truth. He said true unity can only come through acknowledging the north-south imbalance and restructuring, not by forced silence or fake peace. That is what Mazin Namdekalu that is what he told them. Now, he went on further saying northern control of national symbols. Kanu said even national symbols like the coat of arms and pledge reflect a central power structure designed to reinforce northern-led unity. Now, using delayed reforms as a strategy, he argued that the North promises reforms like restructuring or constitutional change, but delays them for decades to keep the system intact. The federal loyalty oath. Kanu exposed how some high-ranking southern officials are forced to sign secret loyalty agreements to northern networks before gaining appointments. Kanu on international silence about detention. He said the lack of international outcry over his detention proves how foreign power benefits from the current northern controlled structure. The fear of southern rail and trade routes. He warned that if the southeast and south-south gain control of direct international rail and shipping routes, Abuja's economic dominance will crumble. Weaponizing population growth. Kanu said high northern birth rates are encouraged to maintain the prescription of majority status and secure more federal seats and allocation. Cultural suppression strategy. He argued that promoting a single Nigerian culture over ethnic identities is used to erase southern autonomy while preserving northern political identity. Northern control of security procurement. He reviewed how military hardware purchases are centralized to prevent southern states from building independent defense capability. Now, the preserve the center doctrine. Kanu said every government since 1966 has followed an unwritten law rule, preserve central power at all costs, even if it means what suppressing what region. Now, this is Kanu's final warning. He warned that ignoring restructuring will make Nigerians eventually will break up violence because oppressed regions will see no peaceful what they will see no peaceful what or alternative. Now, national influence on currency was redesigned. Kanu noted that even policies like Naira redesign and cash flow restrictions are used to control elections and maintain the dominance of what certain networks, that's blocking state what autonomy. He argued that the North consistently fights against true state policing and fiscal autonomy because it would weaken the federal grip they rely on. Strategic control of waterways. Kanu said federal laws and rivers and waterways are designed to stop southern states from monetizing their ports and what maritime routes what independently. Using amnesty programs to weaken movement, he exposed how federal amnesty is used to buy off agitators and weaken grassroots movements without fixing the core structural problem. The fear of southern energy independence. Kanu warned that if the southeast and south-south control their electricity generation fully, the north would lose a key economic leverage. Federal land grabbing policy. He pointed out how federal land acquisition schemes in the south are often disguised as national projects but serve as strategic northern leverage. Silencing through economic blackmail. Kanu said the federal government uses contracts, tax investigations and funding cuts to silence southern businesses leaders who support restructuring. Now, northern strategy of patience. He explained that the North plays the long game. Even when they lose political power temporarily, they maintain control of institutions until the cycle returns. Kanu on media gatekeepers. He revealed that certain media houses are financially tied to northern interests, ensuring their narratives align with preserving the central system. Now, warning on forced unity. Kanu concluded that unity built on fear and suppression is not unity at all. It's a ticking time bomb waiting for a waiting for what? Waiting for a trigger event. So guys, please don't also forget that what we do here is this is a normal ritual that we do. Please type on the comment section free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and also justice delayed is not what justice denied. So guys, this is just to make the federal government to be aware that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent and he needs to be released. Now, northern grip on immigration policy. Kanu said loose immigration controls in the north are strategic, allowing demographic shifts that can later be used as political and electoral advantage. Using national awards to buy loyalty, he explained that giving titles like GCON or national honors to southern elites is often a tactic to secure their silence on structural imbalance. Now, fear of southern digital economy. Kanu warned that the North resist southern-led digital trade, fintech and tech innovation because it decentralized economic power away from Abuja. Now, manipulating federal safety nets, he argued that welfare programs and palliatives are disproportionately sent not to maintain loyalty and create a perception of dependency. Now, controlling the oil revenue data. Can you expose how real oil production and revenue figures are often hidden or manipulated to prevent southern states from knowing their true economic leverage? Now, northern control of defense procurement. He said arms and defense contracts are kept under northern networks to make sure no region can build military independence outside federal oversight, exploiting regional rivalries in the south-south. Kanu highlighted how the cabal fuels internal Niger Delta rivalries to prevent a united resource control movement using state creation to weaken Igbo land. He argued that refusal to create more southeast states compared to the north was deliberately to limit Igbo political weight in the National Assembly. Kanu on the mouth of federal neutrality. He said the idea that the federal government is neutral is a lie. It is designed to protect the power of those who already control the center. Now, warning about a coming political earthquake. Kanu predicted that if the current structure isn't dismantled, a major political event bigger than the Civil War will force Nigeria into either restructuring what? Either restructuring or what? A breakup. So that was what Kanu what told them. So let's move on, guys. Northern hold on strategic minerals. Kanu said the federal government keeps control of all mining license to stop southern states from using their solid minerals for economic what? Independency. Now, using the military for political engineering, he argued that military deployments are often less about security and more about shaping political outcomes and what intimidating regions seeking what autonomy. Now, fear of in southern industrial zones. Kanu wonder full industrialization of the southeast and south-south would make the federal center economic what irrelevant overnight. Now, manipulating national census for global participation. He said inflated northern population numbers are always used to project Nigerians' demographics to international organizations for funding what leverage. The strategy of constant crisis can reveal that Nigeria is deliberately what kept in a cycle of crisis. So structural reform never becomes the national what focus. Northern domination of intelligence agencies. He pointed out that DSS, NIA, and police intelligence are constantly kept under northern loyalties to control narratives and monitor what opposition. Now, blocking southern security architecture. Kanu said every attempt at regional or state policing is fought by the North because it breaks the monopoly on cohesive what force. Now, exploiting southern politician ambition, he explained how the North dangles promises of presidency or federal contracts to southern leaders to make them betray their region's long-term what interest. Federal takeover of ports and airports. Federal Kanu highlighted that keeping Lagos on and other ports under federal control is a deliberate strategy to deny state economic sovereignty. Kanu's vision of true federalism. He said only a system where each region controls its resources and contributes to a weaker center can save Nigeria. Anything less is what a slow what collapse. That is what he said. So, guys, moving on, northern influence over foreign loans. Kanu argue that the North leverage control over federal borrowing and foreign loans to direct development funds into their region and entrench what political what power. Federal Land Use Act as a weapon. He said the Land Use Act centralizes what control of land, making it impossible for states, especially in the south, to use land for economic what sovereignty. Manipulating religion to silence debate. Kanu warned that the North often frames political restructuring debates as religious attacks to shut down conversation and rally their base, keeping the South in energy dependence. He noted that deliberate underinvestment in southern refineries forces dependency on federal imports, keeping the South economic what submissive. Now, Kanu on invisible government. He said elected officials are often puppets, while true power lies with unelected network of generals, emails, and business moguls controlling Nigerians what direction. Now, federal control of what maritime routes. He highlighted how national laws over shipping lanes deny southeast and south-south states the ability to fully monetize what their coastal what advantage. Now, the strategic underdevelopment of southern East Rail. Kanu argued that the lack of railway investment in the East is deliberately to limit the region's trade network and economic what expansion, using national security to block this. He said national security is often an excuse to jail activists and block calls for restructuring under the guise of what protecting unity. So please, guys, drop your comment below because we'll actually be talking about everything going on here. Please drop a comment below, and also please don't forget to type on the comment section free Mazinam Kalu. So, exploiting southern dependency on federal revenue. Kanu pointed out that dependency on Abuja allocation keeps states obedient, making governors afraid to demand what autonomy. Now, exploiting southern dependency on federal revenue. Kanu pointed out that dependency on Abuja allocation keeps states obedient, making governors afraid to demand what true autonomy. Kanu's warning on silent economic succession. He predicted that if forced unity continues, some regions will start economic boycott and what informal what autonomy. So guys, I want you guys to actually listen to this video of what the lawyer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Marshal Okpara, said about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as what these people are doing to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and what the plan of the Northerners. The plan of the Northerners is so that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not be released. Guys, please watch this video, and please don't forget to drop your comment below, and I'll be back to analyze the reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually fearing this Northerners. Guys, please just watch this video.
Calm down. The reason Nnamdi Kanu, have a discussion with him. You have been having a discussion with bandits and the so-called repentant Boko Haram. Tell me the offense of Nnamdi Kanu, because he's agitating for self-determination, which is his own constitutional fundamental rights granted to him by the Constitution and the law.
Well, the government's angle is not because of the agitation, because they know that everyone has a right to agitate. But they said the way he was going about it, like and then people were being incited. Well, that's even not what I'm
what of the one, the wife of the president incited people during the election? The wife of the president, he incited people that Igbo should go. What of the one Oba of Lagos said that Igbo should go and fall into lagoon? What of those that came out and said that Igbos will not vote? If you are not voting for APC, you will not vote. What happened to them? Has anybody been arrested? That Nnamdi Kanu said something, then you now term that thing he said as is a terrorist, is a crime of terrorism. You charge him for terrorism. His own lawful organization that is registered in almost all the whole countries in America and Europe and Asia, and you now came to Nigeria, you term it a terrorist organization. Now you are now saying that now that IPOB is being recognized in almost all the whole countries in America and Europe. So you are now saying that America, France, Germany, they are recognizing a terrorist organization because you don't want anybody to agitate. You want to suppress anybody. If you talk, kill him, suppress him, jail him. In a country that is predicated on constitutional governance, it cannot work like that.
Okay, let's get back to the ministerial nomination of Bianca Ojukwu, because you said he took away one from Anambra and brought in another. But remember that the president took away the minister based on the KPI results that came out, which he was not even the one, that did the evaluation. It was the result given to him with which he did that, meaning that if actually the minister had performed, above board in the KPI, they wouldn't have had any reason to remove her rather.
Now, still on that ministerial list, we have 48 of them, am I right? And we have 36 states in this country, including FCT 37. So, apart from Southeast, that have only 5, every other region have more than 6, apart from Southeast. Now, check since 1999, we have been having series of presidents. Let's use what is going on now. The president is from where? Vice is from where? Speaker is from where? Senate President is from where? CJN is from where? Court of Appeal President is from where? National Industrial Court President is from where? Chief Judge of Federal High Court is from where? And they are saying that the people of Southeast belongs to this country.
The chief of
are you sure you're not? I mean, it's just like what I said too. I mean, isn't it time we started to be less sentimental about this diversity?
We have to apply it now. We are talking about, we are saying that the only people that are qualified to hold all this position, nobody from South is qualified. On what basis?
Are you saying that there's
but the chief of Naval Staff is from the Southeast?
Huh?
The chief of Naval Staff?
From where? I'm talking about the key position.
So
number 1 person, number 2 person, number 3 person, number 4 person, number 5 person. The key position, we have 3 arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the parliament. You can never see anybody from Southeast there. Now, the point we are talking about is that when I'm not even talking about, I'm in court about lopsided appointments.
Okay.
I can avail that my process because I did an intensive research in that process. File it, asking court to view whether this particular appointment, whether this particular government is in line with Federal Character Establishment Act, an act of National Assembly that said that you should carry everybody along. Section 14 of the Constitution also said that you should carry everybody along. And we are not doing all these things. You are telling me that, yes, now that you have removed Kennedy Handele and you are now brought in Bianca Ojukwu, that the people of Southeast will jubilate. Are you talking to idiots? Look at the people that you are talking about. Check, let me start with the sports. In football, the people that have made Nigeria proud are the people of Southeast. In commerce, in aviation industry, name it. In academics, they are from people of Southeast. But when it comes to power, they are not qualified. And we want them to be happy. Listen, let me tell you, like today that is Monday, go to Southeast. And my annoyance is that these things are avoidable for Christ's sake. The one at Niger, the reason and the Kalu, let us start addressing this issue. This early morning, somebody sent me a clip, something they posted. that they said from, I think they said next week, the next 2 weeks, that there will be nothing like federal court in the whole of Southeast. What do I mean by federal court? Federal court, National Industrial Court is a federal court. Federal High Court is a federal court. Court of Appeal is a federal court. Now, the judges that are there, most of them are not Igbos. Majority of them are not Igbos. How should you risk somebody to go and preside in the Court of Appeal over the judicial division, Oka Judicial Division, Enugu Judicial Division? How can you appoint somebody to go and preside in Federal High Court in the Southeast, National Industrial Court in the Southeast? And you are not even thinking about all this, and the judges are not even thinking about So the point we are talking about is that when there is a problem, look for a solution. Personally, somebody like us, we're not even, I'm defending Nnamdi, one of his lawyers. So when they say so you people are not doing what you're supposed to do, the person that is calling you, don't even know him. He's using the hidden number to call you. You don't even know what they're talking about court. The only thing that you went to court and you were unable to bring Nnamdi out. They're not even safe.
Okay, Maxwell, let me ask you this, because from what you're saying, I've also heard IPOB many times deny, allegations of being involved in some of the killings that happen in the Southeast and some of the, the ills that we see in the society. Even the sit-at-home in question, IPOB has also claimed that he has not asked anybody to sit at home. No, get my point. So the point I'm making is that from what you're saying, it would look as if what you're actually trying to say is that it's because Nnamdi is being held.
Yes.
That is why the ills in the society in the Southeast has escalated. Does it have anything to do with him? That is what you're saying.
Do you know why? Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB is his initiative. He established it. He organized it. Now, when you now kidnapped him or adopted him, and unlawfully, because the Supreme Court have said that he was unlawfully brought into this country, and you kept him incommunicado, everybody on his own. This one we kill, you said at IPOB. This one we maim, you said at IPOB. Everybody on his own. That's why I ask you the question, who is IPOB? The IPOB is Nnamdi Kanu. So Nnamdi Kanu, if Nnamdi Kanu is out, you will know who is who. Simon Ekpa will talk his own, Emma Powerful will talk his own, this one will talk his own, this one. Who is IPOB? That you are even talking. Simon Ekpa is in Finland. Emma Powerful, I don't know where he's operating from. Another person is operating from somewhere. Issuing threats. Just like the one somebody told me. I don't even know where that one is coming from. So the easiest way to do is the one that you know. Nnamdi Kanu. Then tell Attorney General, as he discontinue the charges against the president of Mieti Ala Kato, discontinue that of Showore, they are all terrorism. Tell them to discontinue that of Nnamdi Kanu, and allow Nnamdi Kanu to agitate. It is his right. I told you the other day.
You see, that's where the problem is, really. The guarantee, that there will not be problems, even if Nnamdi Kanu is. Because you're saying allow him to agitate, and he goes about it the way he used to, like, the government have actually feared. That may also create more problems, don't you think?
Let me tell you, there are some things that you asked me the other day whether they are talking about condition giving Nnamdi Kanu. I told you one question. I say, if you give Nnamdi Kanu condition that he feel after meeting up that condition, he will still live like a human being, so be it. But when you give him condition and you are removing that made him a human being, he will tell you no. What is that made you a human being? That thing that makes you a human being is your ability to exercise your fundamental rights. And when somebody said, now I'm going to employ you here, I will be paying you $500,000 every month, but you will not talk, you will not move out, you say, do away with your job. When somebody said, I'm going to release you, but I'll cut one of your hands, say no. The agitation for self-determination is a fundamental right. And if you people fail to understand it, I can agitate that I need the Republic of Maxwell. It is my right. Anybody can agitate. I don't even need crowd to follow me. It is when you now feel that you have gotten the necessary need the necessary qualities, then so be it. It is now left for the president who believe in democracy, who believe in government of the people by the people, to apply your initiative. What is the initiative? Release the person. Start addressing all those issues that gave rise to this agitation. It has been there. Uwazuke was agitating during Obasanjo. A lot of people were agitating. So now that you have arrested, you come down Uwazuke that time. Nnamdi Kanu came up. Now that you have arrested Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa is there. I think this data from Ned Nwoko was telling you that even if you arrest Simon Ekpa today, another Simon Ekpa will come out. So the issue there is that address all those issues.
So for you, it's not about ministerial appointment.
No. That one.
Okay,
that is a complete distraction.
That
one
should even come in.
Okay. After coming in now, let Bianca come and address the Igbos in Enugu.
All right.
So you guys have listened to what Maxwell Okpara's lawyer, Maxwell Okpara said, right? The lawyer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, based on things that are going on. Things that say you cannot give someone a condition when you've not yet fixed what is going on. And now people have been asking, who's even giving Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the audacity, who's even pushing him not to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Many people have been saying it is because of the North. That's why he doesn't want to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So guys, let's continue. The northern control of key judicial appointments. Kanu has argued that the appointment of Supreme Court justice is heavily influenced by the northern network to protect the central structure in case of legal challenges. Now, using national security councils to consolidate power, he said these councils are dominated by northern figures, ensuring that all major military and policy decisions align with maintaining their leverage. Now, fear of independent southern education system. Kanu warned that a decentralized curriculum would empower southern regions to teach through history and challenge the freedom narrative. Now, strategic poverty retention in the north. He argued that northern allies deliberately keep large parts of their population poor as a political weapon for easy mobilization and voting control. Federal monopoly on natural gas. Kanu said control over gas resource is as critical as oil northern linked interests, ensure southern states can't independently monetize their reserves. Using insurgency as a negotiation tool, he exposed how insecurity is sometimes leveraged to demand more federal funding or block political reforms under the excuse of stability first. Now, media blackouts on regional autonomy debates. Kanu revealed how discussions on true federalism are censored or watered down in national media to keep public pressure low. Strategic placement of northern technocrats. He said key economic and policy technocrats are often selected for their loyalty to the northern establishment rather than merit. Kanu on the danger of political apathy. He warned the southern apathy placed into the north hands, allowing them to maintain control with minimal resistance. The countdown to structural collapse. Kanu predicting that Nigeria without restructuring, Nigeria is heading towards a systematic breakdown where the center can no longer hold politically economically. So guys, let's move on. Now, it says that federal control of river basin authorities. Kanu said northern allies ensure river basins are managed from the center to control irrigation, agriculture, and land use in the south. Now, he went on further saying manipulating national identity for power. He argued that the One Nigeria slogan is used as a shield to block conversations about fairness, while the same unity is not practiced in resource sharing. Now, fear of southern maritime autonomy. Kanu pointed out that if the southeast and south-south control their own ports and customs, the north economic leverage will disappear overnight. Using population figures to secure aid, he revealed that inflated northern population members are used to secure more international aid, which is then turned into political capital. Deliberate underfunding of southern universities. Kanu warned that southern higher institutions are underfunded to slow innovation and prevent a knowledge-driven push for restructuring. Strategic silence of southern allies. He said many southern leaders are co-opted with contracts and federal positions to ensure they never speak openly about the structural imbalance. Using emergency powers to override states, Kanu exposed how national emergencies are used as legal grounds to weaken state autonomy and expand central control. Federal control of telecoms. He argued that centralized regulation of telecoms is to monitor regional movements and prevent digital independence for southern regions. Northern protection of oil block ownership. Kanu said keeping oil blocks in the hands of a small allies ensures economic control of the federation stays in their network. Kanu's vision of true liberation. He concluded that without dismantling the imposed 1999 constitution and granting regional autonomy, Nigeria can never achieve true unity or through unity what or what progress. So let's go on. It says northern domination of northern archives. Kanu said control over historical records allows the North to shape the narrative of Nigeria's past, hiding key truths about regional agreements and betrayals. Federal monopoly on broadcasting license. He argued that central control of national broadcasting license keeps alternative southern voices from reaching a wide audience. Now, weaponizing the NYSC scheme, Kanu claimed NYSC is partially used to indoctrinate what youth into accepting a centralized Nigeria and weaken what regional identity over time. Now, using border closures as leverage, he said strategic border closures are used to punish southern trade hubs while protecting what northern smuggling what networks. Fair or southern aviation autonomy, Kano pointed out that keeping airports under federal control stops states from building independent trade and tourism what economism. Strategic appointments of diplomats. He revealed that key foreign missions are staffed by loyalists who defend their federal narrative abroad, blocking international sympathy for what restructuring. Now, deliberate suppression of regional languages. Can you argue that lack of official support for Igbo and other southern languages is a cultural control tactic to weaken identity what and political what unity? Federal takeover of revenue generating agencies. He highlighted how my profitable state agency is quickly taken over or regulated by the center to deny states full economic what power. Using national holiday to reinforce unity narrative, Kanu said symbolic holidays and ceremonies are designed to push one Nigeria ideology while maxing what structural what injustice. Now, Kanu's call for a people's constitution. He concluded that only a constitution written and approved by a referendum can reset Nigeria into true equality and end what northern domination. Just like I told you guys, please don't forget to actually type in the comment section free Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. And also, justice delayed is not what justice denied, because we're just using this platform, to agitate for the release of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, and also to tell the federal government that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu is innocent and they shouldn't be holding him hostage, because that man has been in detention since 2021. So guys, that's all we have for today. Please drop your comment below, and also if you know you're new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button, like and share, and turn on the notification button to be getting all the latest updates in this channel. And please don't forget to share this live guys, so that people will know that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu has been in continuous detention for so long, and so that people will be aware of the things that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu has been warning us about. Even the fact that he told us that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is afraid of the North. So guys, also don't forget that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu will be coming to court on October 10th, 2025, and we're going to be knowing what is going to happen during that time, if he's going to be released or not. Because if Mazin Nnamdi Kanu is not released on 10th October, a lot of things are going to be happening on 10th October. A lot of violence protests will take place on 10th October. And also guys, please don't forget to share this live. And this is a channel that is talking about everything about Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. I'll be giving you guys updates and everything that is currently happening about Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. So guys, thanks for watching, and see you guys again in my next live section.